Thanksgiving dinner is finally over, and I'm still trying to process what just happened. It felt like a chaotic fever dream of food disasters and family drama, and I'm honestly debating whether to laugh or cry. My cousin and I are heading out for drinks to try to make sense of it all because, honestly, this deserves its own documentary. I'll post photos later, but for now, here's the rundown of the madness. My sister arrived earlier than expected, which should have been my first red flag. She came storming in with not just 3 dishes, but also a massive foil-covered platter. She immediately started rearranging the table to make room for her vision, pushing aside my carefully planned dishes and even bringing her own table runner and candles to set the mood for a creative dining experience. I didn't argue, I just wanted to get through the night without a scene. Then came the food. Oh, the food. First up was her glittery sweet potato mash. Unfortunately, it wasn't edible glitter, it was craft glitter. I only realized this when one of the kids pointed out that it was crunchy. The mash itself tasted like someone had mixed sugar with sand, so no one was rushing for seconds. Next was her cranberry and oyster relish. Yes, oysters. It looked like someone spilled cranberry sauce into clam chowder, and the smell was enough to make me lose my appetite. Then there was her pumpkin curry casserole, which had raisins for no apparent reason and a fishy smell that lingered far too long. But the piece de resistance? Her surprise centerpiece dish, a turkey gelatin mold. Imagine ground turkey mixed with broth and seasonings, molded into the shape of a turkey, and garnished with parsley and cherry tomatoes. The entire table went dead silent when she unveiled it. My cousin started coughing to cover up what was clearly laughter, and I could only sit there in disbelief. The reactions to her dishes were as bad as you'd expect. My mom, who's been defending my sister's cooking experiments for years, took one bite of the gelatin mold and froze in horror. My aunt, the family peacekeeper, tried it and actually gagged. My sister, sensing the lack of enthusiasm, launched into a speech about how Thanksgiving food is too boring and how she's trying to challenge our palates. She even called my ham and mashed potatoes uninspired, which was rich coming from someone serving craft glitter and turkey jelly. Things came to a head when my aunt's gagging made my sister snap. She yelled about how no one supports her and accused me of sabotaging her dishes by not hyping them up enough. Half the table was trying not to laugh while the other half avoided eye contact, probably wondering how we got to this point. My sister eventually stormed out, shouting something about how we'll regret not appreciating her vision when she's famous. She left most of her food behind, which my cousin and I discreetly threw out after dinner. Once she was gone, the night actually improved. My dad's emergency ham saved the day, and everyone agreed that next year we're either eating out or skipping Thanksgiving altogether. Now I'm sitting here, half relieved it's over and half worried about what my sister has in store for next year. I'll share photos later because the turkey gelatin mold really has to be seen to be believed. For now, I'm off for drinks with my cousin to laugh/cry about the disaster we just lived through. Thanksgiving 2023 is one for the books, whether we wanted it to be or not. After a couple of drinks with my cousin, we both decided this Thanksgiving will forever live in family infamy. We started going over all the little details we hadn't even processed in the moment because we were too busy surviving the chaos. For example, my cousin reminded me of how my sister had spent a solid 5 minutes loudly criticizing everyone's portion sizes. "Oh, you're only taking a small scoop of the glitter mash? Don't be shy. It's a once-in-a-lifetime dish," she said, while ignoring the fact that no one wanted even a single bite of her concoctions. Then there was the moment one of the kids at the table tried to carve a slice of the turkey gelatin mold, only for it to wobble and collapse on itself. My sister gasped in horror, as if someone had destroyed a priceless piece of art. She muttered something about underappreciated creativity, grabbed the mold, and tried to prop it back up like it was some kind of culinary Jenga. The drinks also helped us laugh about my aunt's failed attempt to smooth things over. After gagging on the gelatin mold, she tried to pivot the conversation by complimenting the centerpiece my sister brought, except the centerpiece was actually part of my table decor, not hers. My sister, of course, took full credit anyway, launching into a story about how she was inspired by French minimalist design, which had nothing to do with the fall leaves and pumpkins I'd arranged. We also remembered the quiet MVP of the night, my dad. When the glitter mash and the cranberry oyster relish started getting passed around, my dad quietly excused himself to the kitchen. 10 minutes later, he reappeared with his emergency ham, heating it up in the oven like a firefighter saving Thanksgiving from a 5-alarm blaze. He didn't say much, just gave me a knowing look that said, "We've got this." By the end of the night, my cousin and I were crying from laughing so hard. The sheer absurdity of the whole situation somehow made it easier to process. We even started imagining future Thanksgivings with categories for everyone's dishes, like a reality TV cooking show. Most experimental disaster would obviously go to my sister every year, while my dad would win best backup plan without contest. Still, I know this isn't the end of the drama. My sister's ego took a major hit, and she's not the type to let it slide. She's already texted me twice since storming out, once to blame me for turning the family against her and another time to demand that I formally apologize for ruining her Thanksgiving. I haven't responded yet because I genuinely don't know how to without escalating things further. My mom has also called, begging me to be the bigger person and patch things up with my sister, but I'm standing firm on this one. I can't keep pretending that her behavior is normal, and I certainly can't let her turn every holiday into a culinary circus. For now, though, I'm just going to savor the fact that we made it through the night. The turkey gelatin mold, the glitter potatoes, and the cranberry oyster nightmare may haunt my dreams, but at least they didn't ruin my sense of humor. Update: well, folks, the Thanksgiving drama didn't just end when my sister stormed out, it's apparently the gift that keeps on giving. Since the infamous meal, there's been quite a bit of fallout, so here's your much-requested update. First, the texts. My sister has been blowing up my phone with a mix of accusations, guilt trips, and wild justifications for her behavior. She started with, "You owe me an apology for sabotaging my dishes and turning everyone against me." Apparently, not hyping up her food or praising her creativity counts as sabotage now. When I didn't reply, she doubled down, sending paragraphs about how she's just trying to bring fresh ideas to the family and how we're all stuck in boring culinary traditions. Then came the pity messages: "I'm the only one who dares to be different, and I'm punished for it. Why can't anyone support me?" She even tried to pull the "your family, so you have to have my back" card. I still didn't respond because, honestly, what can you say to someone who thinks they're being oppressed for making turkey gelatin? My mom has also been on my case, pleading with me to smooth things over. She's worried my sister might feel excluded or unappreciated. But here's the kicker: Mom fully admitted she thought my sister's dishes were awful and that the gelatin mold was borderline inedible. She just doesn't want to deal with the fallout of my sister being mad at everyone. I told her I wasn't going to apologize for something I didn't do, and I'm certainly not going to lie and pretend I enjoyed my sister's food. Meanwhile, my cousin has been a godsend. We've been trading memes about Thanksgiving disasters and joking about starting a Thanksgiving Survivor club. She also reminded me of a moment I'd blocked out, when one of the kids at the table asked if the glitter on the sweet potatoes was safe to eat, and my sister snapped, "Of course it's safe. It's food-grade glitter." It wasn't. That memory alone kept us laughing for hours. As for the rest of the family, the reactions have been mixed. My dad has officially declared that next year, he's in charge of the menu. He's already talking about doing a traditional Thanksgiving dinner with no surprises, which I'm fully on board with. My aunt, who gagged on the gelatin mold, called to say she's still processing the whole ordeal but supports my decision to stick to my guns. The real surprise came when my grandma chimed in. She's usually pretty quiet during family drama, but apparently, she called my sister and told her that while creativity is nice, Thanksgiving isn't the time to experiment on people. My sister didn't take it well, but hearing that Grandma stepped in made me feel a little less alone in all this. As for my sister? She's now hinting that she might host Thanksgiving next year to show us all how it's done. I can't decide if I'm horrified or excited at the thought of what she might come up with. A gelatin turkey centerpiece was bad enough. What's next? Deep-fried cranberry jello? Glitter-infused gravy? In the meantime, I'm sticking to my plan, keeping my boundaries firm, not apologizing for something I didn't do, and leaning on the sane members of the family for support. Thanksgiving may have been a disaster, but at least it's given us plenty of stories to laugh about for years to come. Update 2. I didn't think it was possible, but the drama from Thanksgiving has reached new heights. Just when I thought things might settle down, my sister and the rest of my family decided to turn the holiday disaster into a multi-act saga that's still unfolding. Buckle up because this update is long, and trust me, you'll want popcorn for this one. After my sister's barrage of texts went unanswered, she turned her attention to the family group chat. She started with a long message about how she's tired of being attacked for her creativity and how the family doesn't appreciate her contributions. She even included pictures of her dishes, yes, including the infamous turkey gelatin mold, with captions like, "This is art, and you people treated it like trash." The chat quickly devolved into chaos. My cousin, who has zero patience for nonsense, responded with a gif of someone throwing food in the trash, which nearly sent my sister into orbit. My mom tried to play peacemaker, saying things like, "We all need to respect each other's efforts," but my aunt, the one who gagged on the gelatin mold, chimed in with, "Respect is earned, not demanded." Nobody asked for a glittery potato disaster. At this point, my sister started calling out individual family members. She accused me of conspiring against her, claimed my dad intentionally overshadowed her by serving his ham, and even said my grandma's criticism was proof of outdated thinking. She ended her rant with, "Next year, I'll host Thanksgiving, and we'll see how you all like being excluded." After the group chat meltdown, my dad called a family meeting via Zoom. He's decided that next year, there will be no homemade dishes allowed at Thanksgiving, everything will be catered from a local restaurant. My sister, of course, lost her mind. She called the decision a personal attack and said it was an attempt to stifle her culinary talents. My dad explained, very calmly, I might add, that the goal is to keep things simple and avoid the chaos that unfolded this year. He pointed out that catering would save everyone time and stress, but my sister accused him of punishing her for being different. She even claimed it was classist to insist on catering because it devalues the personal touch of a homemade meal. My cousin and I were texting each other during the meeting, trying not to laugh too hard. My cousin suggested we secretly bring a backup ham next year, just in case my sister sneaks in a surprise dish. Knowing her, she'd probably show up with something like glitter-infused sushi rolls or Jell-O cranberry soup. A few days after the Zoom call, my sister announced that she was hosting a dinner party for select family members to showcase her cooking. She didn't invite me or my cousin, which we were honestly fine with. But my mom and dad felt obligated to go, and they've since reported back that it was an experience. The menu included fusion dishes that were even more bizarre than her Thanksgiving attempts. Highlights included lasagna tacos, layers of tortilla chips, ricotta cheese, marinara sauce, and ground beef topped with shredded lettuce. Mango pickled deviled eggs, hard-boiled eggs filled with a mixture of mango chutney and spicy pickles. Blue cheese brownie bites, yes, you read that correctly. Brownies with chunks of blue cheese baked into them. My dad apparently couldn't stomach any of it and ended up leaving early, claiming he wasn't feeling well. My mom stayed longer, trying to be supportive, but even she admitted the food was challenging. My sister sent a smug message in the family group chat afterward, saying, "Some of you missed out on a truly groundbreaking meal tonight." Oh, but it doesn't stop there. My sister has now taken the drama to Facebook, where she posted a long rant about how her family stifles her creativity and doesn't appreciate her gifts. She included pictures of her Thanksgiving dishes, again, and called out certain family members for being closed-minded and unkind. The post quickly gained traction, with her friends commenting things like, "You're so brave for challenging the norm," and, "Your family doesn't deserve you, Queen." Meanwhile, my cousin and I were dying laughing over text, sharing screenshots, and coming up with fake captions like, "When your art is so powerful, it leaves people speechless," or gagging. But then my grandma got involved. Yes, my sweet, quiet grandma who usually avoids drama like the plague left a comment saying, "Honey, the gelatin mold was awful, and you need to hear that." I'm pretty sure that's when my sister started blocking people. The weirdest twist of all? My sister is now talking about making a documentary about the hardships of being a misunderstood artist in a traditional family. She's reached out to a few small filmmakers she knows, trying to pitch the idea, and she's even asked my mom if she'd be willing to do an interview for it. My mom politely declined, which my sister took as yet another betrayal. I have no idea if this documentary will actually happen, but the idea of her trying to turn our Thanksgiving drama into some kind of indie film is both hilarious and horrifying. I've already warned my cousin that if we end up in it, we're going to demand royalties. As of today, I've officially gone no contact with my sister. Between her accusations, the constant guilt-tripping, and now this bizarre documentary idea, I just can't deal with her anymore. My mom keeps asking me to make peace, but I told her I'm not interested in enabling my sister's delusions. My dad has doubled down on the catering idea for next year and has already started researching menus. My cousin and I are planning to bring wine because, let's be honest, we're going to need it. Meanwhile, my sister is apparently planning her own alternative Thanksgiving next year for her friends, which she's describing as a bold reimagining of tradition. If that's her way of saying she's not coming to the family gathering, I'm all for it. For now, things have settled down, but not without a few lingering loose ends. My sister has officially gone no contact with me, which, honestly, is a relief. She's still posting cryptic things on social media about how some people don't understand the genius of culinary art, but she hasn't mentioned me or the rest of the family by name, yet. In a shocking turn of events, Grandma has decided she's hosting Thanksgiving next year at her house. She's already called me, my cousin, and my dad to inform us that there will be no nonsense, no experimental dishes, and definitely no turkey gelatin molds. Grandma's Thanksgiving is going to be all about traditional food, and she's even letting us pitch in to bring side dishes, as long as we run them by her first. I've never been more excited for a straightforward turkey, mashed potatoes, and pumpkin pie. My cousin has already volunteered to make her famous green bean casserole, and I'm in charge of dessert. As for the documentary my sister wanted to make, it's already hit a snag. One of the filmmakers she reached out to apparently ghosted her after she sent them a detailed email about her vision. From what I've heard through the family grapevine, she's still determined to make it happen and is now considering crowdfunding it. I can only imagine the disaster that will be. Here's the part that made my jaw drop. My mom told me that my sister's alternative Thanksgiving friends list includes several influencers she's connected with online. She's trying to market it as some kind of exclusive, avant-garde dining experience. Mom isn't invited, and neither is her husband, which says a lot. But my sister did reach out to one of my coworkers, apparently thinking they might appreciate her creative genius. I only found out about this because my coworker brought it up casually, saying, "Hey, your sister invited me to some kind of Thanksgiving preview. Should I go?" My advice? Run. Far away. So here I am, looking back on the chaos and realizing that, for all the stress it caused, this Thanksgiving gave me something priceless: perspective. My sister's antics reminded me how important it is to set boundaries, stand up for myself, and sometimes just laugh at the absurdity of it all. I've blocked her on most social media and am focusing on spending time with the family members who actually respect me. My cousin and I are planning a post-Thanksgiving trip next year to decompress, just in case there's any residual drama. For those of you wondering if this saga is truly over, I'd love to say yes, but knowing my sister, there's a good chance she's already plotting her next big culinary breakthrough. TLDR. My sister's disastrous Thanksgiving dishes escalated into a family-wide feud, a meltdown in the group chat, and even a plan for her to host her own avant-garde Thanksgiving next year. Grandma has stepped in as the voice of reason and is hosting a traditional dinner for the rest of us, which is the happy ending I didn't know I needed. Meanwhile, my sister is crowdfunding a documentary and inviting random influencers to her interactive holiday meal. Stay tuned, this family drama might just have a sequel.